The Indianapolis Colts taking the field for their home opener as they meet the Miami Dolphins, and the headline going into this one, at the running back position, Ricky Williams and Edgerrin James.
Edgerrin James is both a prolific runner and receiver out of the backfield. Ricky Williams is a powerful runner who can wear down the defense.
And remember, in '99, the Colts went for James at number 4. They bypassed Williams, who was snatched up at number 5 by New Orleans. First time that they will ever meet one another on the professional level. Coming up, it's the kickoff. Dolphins taking on the Colts here on CBS. Welcome back to Indianapolis. Before we get things started, let's go to our PA announcer, Mike Jansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, earlier this week, the NFL family lost one of the legends of the game. Please stand and join the Colts and the Dolphins in a moment of silence to honor the memory of Johnny Unitas, a quarterback for all time who brought glamour and popularity to pro football. Thank you.
Remembering Johnny Unitas, 17 years as a member of the Colts, 10 Pro Bowls, 2-time MVP, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1979, and Peyton Manning feels a deep connection with Johnny U.
Absolutely, said he grew up. His dad always admired Johnny Unitas. The only two guys he admired, of course, Mickey Mantle and Johnny U. And of course, the two became very close, Peyton Manning and Johnny Unitas, before he passed away.
And Unitas had a strained relationship with the Colts once they left Baltimore. But he told Peyton Manning, I don't like the Colts anymore, but I like you.
And Peyton is very easy to like.
He got right to the point. Time to kick this one off with Mike Vanderjagt. Miami has won the toss. They'll receive with Albert Johnson, who's on the hot seat, and Rob Conrad. Johnson returning from the 2, and we're underway. Middle of the field, Johnson looks for an opening, and stacked up across the 25 by Sam Sword on special teams. A return of 24 yards. Jay Fiedler, last week, 3 touchdown passes in the win over Detroit, 49-21. He threw for 207 yards, and it was a perfect game all around for the Miami Dolphins.
Near perfect. No interceptions, as you can see, and no penalties. And they scored 7 times down in the red zone. 7 touchdowns scored on that offensive game, and just a wonderful performance last week.
He has had success in his career against these Indianapolis Colts. Overall, Fiedler is 23-10 as an NFL starter. Double tight end set on a 1st and 10. Handoff. Williams gets his first chance. Plenty of room. Ricky Williams takes it to the 39. Todd Wade and Jamie Nails with strong blocks up front for a gain of 12. And we'll take a look at the Miami offense. Across that line, it's Dixon, Nails, Ruddy, Perry, and Wade. Dixon shifting over to left tackle from left guard last season. Backs and receivers, you just saw Ricky Williams. He's got Conrad blocking for him. Gadsden and Chambers have had huge games against Indy. And Randy McMichael, the outspoken, exciting rookie tight end. A 1st and 10 for Miami. Fiedler, quick throw underneath. And Gadsden caught quickly by Macklin. He was all over it, and a modest gain of 3. Defensively for the Indianapolis Colts, some changes on that front line because of injuries. Canada and Williams are out, so Scioli moves inside. Brock, the rookie, gets a start. Triplett gets the start as well. He's a first-year player, and Bratsky on the outside. Linebackers, a young group but talented. Peterson, Morris, and Washington. And in the secondary, Harris comes over from Chicago as a free agent. Bashir and Bird are second-year players, and David Macklin is the other corner. On a 2nd and 7. Fiedler has the protection, throws, and complete. He finds Chris Chambers into Colts territory, and Chambers picks up 14, a new set of downs for Miami.
Early on, the aggressive play calling, I think, the best acquisition in the offseason by the Miami Dolphins with their new offensive coordinator, Norv Turner. He attacks the defense continuously, and I think he's going to take advantage of all the talent that this Miami Dolphins offense has right now. There you see Chris Chambers, a guy who had an exceptional year, led all receivers last year in yards per catch, and looking for a better year in his second season.
And he was a Colts killer last season, his breakout game. Off the play fake, Fiedler throws all alone by himself, and Gaston can't bring it in cleanly. Incomplete.
And Fiedler stood in the pocket, took the hit at the last minute. Gaston has to reward his quarterback if he's going to get pounded. He was hit by Marcus Washington in the backfield, bearing down from the blind side. This is a catch Gaston has to make. Talk about taking advantage of all the weapons. He wants more balls coming his way and not going to Chambers, then he's going to have to make these catches.
What about this Indy defense under Tony Dungy?
And this is a defense, a lot is expected of it. They said that they've been the stepchild in recent years, allowing games to get away. They're going to have to make some plays today.
Conrad in motion. On second down, Ricky Williams, nowhere to go. He tried to sidestep on the inside, but could not get to the outside. Scioli with a tackle, a loss of 1.
And this Indianapolis Colts defense going to see a lot of Ricky Williams today, pounding the middle of that defense. First play from scrimmage, Ricky had a nice run off tackle. That time they were able to stop him. Try to force a third and long situation. This is what Tony Dungy likes. They run that cover 2 defense. They'll let him catch the ball in front of him, look to make the tackle with no yards after the catch.
Dwight Freeney has come in for Indianapolis. Robert Edwards is the third down back for Miami. What a comeback story he is. It is loud early. Flags come down. Fiedler, little shovel in front to Edwards. And good pursuit by the Colts defense. But a flag on the play. A gain of 1.
Appear to be some movement on the line before the snap. And look at the Dolphins. They're saying it's against the Colts. These are guys on the defensive line for Indianapolis. They're taught to come off the ball, be very quick.
Left defensive end. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Our referee is Walt Coleman. And the first penalty will come against the Indianapolis defense. Well, you just saw a look of Robert Edwards, and we had a chance to sit down with him yesterday. He said last week made all the hard work worth it. This was a man who had not played in an NFL game since 1998, that season, as a rookie with the New England Patriots.
And he has a role on this offense, short yardage and the third down back, but he cherishes any role to be back in the game of football.
Ward, the third receiver. Quarterback sneak by Fiedler. Jay Fiedler, who set a rushing record for QBs last year as a member of the Miami Dolphins, just picked up 11. And another first down for Miami at the 29.
Fiedler is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League, but he gives you this. He can run the ball, quarterback draw. He knows where the line is to pick up the first down, but he can also make smart decisions in the pocket. But he shows he's an all-around athlete. He can run the ball also.
He's got some of those intangibles, and while it isn't always the prettiest, he finds a way to win.
He's very effective, and you know what? If he doesn't make the mistakes, this could be a very good Miami Dolphins offense.
On first down, play action, Fiedler. Quick throw, and caught by McMichael. Inside the 10-yard line, brought down just short of the 5. Randy McMichael shaking his head after the strong performance last week. McMichael catching his first NFL touchdown.
He has good movement. He finds a soft spot in that cover 2 zone. That's in the middle behind the linebacker, Rob Morrison, in front of the safeties. He has excellent body control. We talk about the good hands of the tight end, Randy McMichael. Watch the body control to be able to haul this ball in. He's able to hold on to it after taking a very good hit.
He was the Rookie of the Week as voted at NFL.com. Now a first and goal just outside of the 5. Handoff. Williams cuts it inside and comes up short of the goal line. Walt Harris involved in that stop for Indy, but he picks up 4 yards. It'll be second and goal.
You go all the way back to the 3rd and 11 play, and they called, it was Raheem Brock, the left defensive end. He was offsides. That gave the Miami Dolphins new life, and from there they've taken advantage of it as they're knocking on the door looking to score on their first possession in the ball game.
Last week, 49 points for this Miami offense, most points for the Dolphins since a 52-14 win over the Jets back in the 95 opener. In the red zone, they were perfect a week ago. 3 tight end formation on second and goal. Play action, Fiedler, he's got room and he's got the angle. Touchdown, Miami. Raheem Brock could not chase him down. And Jay Fiedler has gotten the Dolphins on the board first.
And you don't think of athleticism when you mention Jay Fiedler, but he is exactly that. Number 79, Raheem Brock, he just scorches Brock to the corner of the end zone, who doesn't have enough speed to stay with Jay Fiedler, who's a really good athlete. We've seen him make some really excellent throws in this drive, and we've also seen him make some plays with his legs as well. Tremendous play by the Miami Dolphins.
Orlando Mare on for the extra point, and how impressive was that drive to open this one up. 9 plays, 73 yards. Dolphins touch the football first, and they put 7 on the board. Get the sense Miami's comfortable at the RCA Dome. They've won 4 in a row here, and they just put on an offensive exhibition, mixing it up on their first drive.
And they're also comfortable in this new offense brought in by North Turner. Just excellent play calling on that first possession.
Kickoff by Mare. Troy Walters will take it out of the end zone for Indy. Walters heading towards the sideline. Walters cuts it inside and spins his way to the 31. Mare was the one that cut him down low to make sure he didn't get any more than 33 yards. A quick lead, taking advantage of this Indianapolis defense. 7-0 Dolphins lead it. 9:28 to go on the first. And Peyton Manning, 12 touchdowns, 14 interceptions in his career against the Miami Dolphins. And a 1st and 10 at the 31. Handoff, Edgerrin James. James veers to the outside, and Edgerrin James with a strong pickup on first down. Madison and Freeman combined to make the stop after a gain of 9. Well, what a disappointment it was last year for Peyton Manning. Not necessarily statistically, he had big numbers, and you see what he did last week with 3 touchdowns, but the 23 interceptions, we talked about that with him 2 days ago.
Yeah, he said he went back and studied every single interception, watched the film. He said at times he did press and did try to force some throws. Felt like the offense had to keep him in every game because the defense could not stop the opposing team.
He has not had major success against this Miami team, though, with that 2-6 record. James stacked up at the line of scrimmage. And Derek Rogers led that charge for Miami. Did he get enough for the first down? He did. Forward progress. Take a look at the Indianapolis offense. Glenn, DeMulling, Saturday, Deem, and Meadows. What an important job they have protecting Peyton Manning. Backs and receivers. Edgerrin James came back after suffering the knee injury last year. 99 yards in his first game back. Smith gets the start for the injured Jim Finn. Wayne Harrison and Joe Dean Davenport in for Pollard, inactive with a rib injury. On 1st and 10, 4 wide receiver look out of the shotgun. Manning deflected as he threw it. He was looking in the direction of Edgerrin James.
That's because he was hit. I think that arm was hit. Jason Taylor coming around the defensive end, working against Tarek Glenn, comes around and hits the arm of Peyton Manning. He's not able to complete the pass.
A little pressure there as well from Ogunleye on the other side.
And watch the right arm of Jason Taylor. It's just enough to disrupt the throwing rhythm of Peyton Manning.
2nd and 10 from the 41. Now a 3 receiver look with the missile. Qadry Ismail on the field. Now checking off Manning. Miami is ready for this. And they'll try to do some things to confuse Manning throughout the day. Hand it off, James. He finds the opening, and Edgerrin James barrels his way into Miami territory. Deem and Meadows on that right side, springing him loose. And a gain of 11. This Miami defense. Ogunleye, Bowens, Chester's a former Colt, and Taylor the front 4. Linebackers, we talked to Zach Thomas. He said they don't have a lot of depth there, but the starters are strong. Rogers, Zach Thomas, and the youngster Moreland Greenwood in his 2nd year from Syracuse. And in the secondary, Surtain and Madison, 1-2 punch. Not sure you're going to find a better one at cornerback. Marion and Arturo Freeman now in his 3rd year as he steps in to replace Brian Walker, who left. On 1st down, double tight end set, fake the pitch. Manning steps up, fires into double coverage. Sliding attempt, Ismail, incomplete.
And we saw the Colts, they came out with 4 wide receivers set, looking to spread out this Miami Dolphins defense. Been very difficult to run on them. And here's just a play action pass, hoping that the safety could bite up, try to get over the top to Qadry Ismail. But the safety, Brock Marion, very smart defensive player, stayed back. Also Rogers, the linebacker, getting good depth on the drop. No one bid on the play action, but that's what the Colts like to do. They want to pound it up front with the running game with Edgerrin James, hoping they can get the safety to bite up with a play action pass.
Last week, Manning and Ismail had instant chemistry in their first regular season game together. 2 touchdowns for the former Raven. Handed off. James circling. Edgerrin James makes something out of nothing. 5-yard gain, and he earned every single inch.
And is he back from that knee injury? I think all questions, I should say, are answered on this run right here. We see the patience, we see the shiftiness that he showed prior to the injury that kept him out of most of last season. He's a guy that certainly can put up some big numbers. Last year did not get the 1,000 yards, but now in his 4th season, he's back on track.
5 career games against the Dolphins, 4 100-yard efforts. 3rd and 5. Out of the gun, Manning. 4 receiver look. Long count. Manning steps up, feeling some pressure. Manning. He tries to run for the marker and gets there.
Whoa.
Jason Taylor chasing him down, one of the speediest defensive ends in the NFL, and Manning outran him.
He sure did. And we talked about Jay Fiedler and his athleticism. No one ever is going to really talk about Peyton Manning being very athletic. Certainly not going to talk about him being a running quarterback, but he's athletic enough to beat, as you said, a speedy Jason Taylor and beat him to the first down marker in the crowd. Just loving the effort of Peyton Manning.
Line of scrimmage is now the 38-yard line. You see the yards for Manning last year, 157. That's about half of what Jay Fiedler was able to gain on the ground as the quarterback for Miami.
You know where to find him. That's in the pocket.
Joe Dean Davenport, the tight end, sets up as a receiver. Manning. Look at the time. Manning throws across, tipped up and picked off. Peyton Manning has it intercepted. Derek Rogers comes up with a pick. Wiggins, it came off of his body and up in the air, a 20-yard return.
Now there was excellent protection by the offensive line. They were trying to hit the deep play action pass, but the receivers recovered. Now watch Wiggins. He'll come across. He clears. He's got to make this catch. It hits him right in the hands. Rogers gets the interception.
So the Colts turn it over. Not Manning's fault, but it's going to go on his ledger. Just the 2nd career interception for Derek Rogers, his first since 1999. It came off the deflection, and Miami is in business with a 1st and 10 at the Indianapolis 49. They already lead at 7-0. Now to 5:51 remaining in the 1st quarter. Fiedler fakes the pitch, underneath throw. Chambers creating after the catch. Chambers with a spin move and then gets gang tackled with David Macklin, the first man there.
Take another look at the interception thrown by Peyton Manning. Actually, this is a well-designed play. It goes to Jermaine Wiggins. Ball hits him in the hands and bounced right off his chest, right into the arms of Derek Rogers. Now I'm predicting Wiggins will not have another ball thrown to him. Marcus Pollard's out of the game. He has to come through in situations like that. If Peyton Manning's going to trust you, you got to catch the ball.
Now Jermaine Wiggins is a former New England Patriot. He was a part-time starter for New England and signed on before the year to be a part of the Indianapolis Colts. But you're right, that injury to Pollard leaves a major hole. Ricky Williams, talk about a hole. Williams inside the 30. And they are shredding this Indianapolis defense. That's a pickup of 11.
And this is something the Dolphins did not have a year ago, is power running game, and they can really just wear down the defense. That's what they did last week to the Detroit Lions, picking up 27 first downs last week. Well on that way to the same kind of week that you're seeing here. They're just dominating up front, getting the good push, and Ricky Williams off to a fast start.
Williams earlier this week agreeing to a revised incentive package that makes it easier for him to earn bonuses and make more money this season. He's been accepted by the Dolphins as Williams takes another carry up the middle. Scioli with the stop, 4-yard gain. We sat down with Ricky yesterday. Interesting guy. Never had a chance to meet him. You hear all these stories. Very bright, but also pretty humble.
He's very humble. You know, he talks about coming out the same year with Edgerrin James. He says, hey, Edgerrin James is where I want to be. I want to become more complete back. He says, yeah, I want to be like him. I want rushing titles, and I also want to go to Pro Bowls.
Well, last week certainly made a statement, sending his first message to the rest of the league that this is going to be a pretty good fit with the Dolphins. Play action. Fiedler avoids the pressure. Has time over the middle. Great grab by Gadsden, using his hands and down at the 14-yard line. That's an 11-yard hook up through the air.
When I talk to all the players and the coaches, they talk about Ricky Williams. They say he can do everything. He's not just a powerful runner, but he's also a good blocker in the backfield. Not going to see it here. This ball is going to go to Gatson right in the middle of the field. But the reason why that play was able to be made, the pass by Jay Fiedler, is because Ricky Williams watched the block on Chad Brasky. Now that's pass protection. It creates more time for Jay Fiedler to see up the field and complete the pass.
A 1st and 10 from the 15. Miami once again marching down the field. Off the pump fake, Fiedler looking for Williams underneath. Incomplete. Well, Jay Fiedler now 5 of 7, 60 yards. And the creativity is there, Solomon.
Yeah, he can do it all. He has the good vision, good smarts. You can see him making a nice play, little improvisation there. But then when he sees the hole, he takes it right away. It's just a field jitter out there making really good decisions here. He has the speed to get to the corner. And that's why he's won 21 of his 31 starts. Something you don't quite figure with Jay Fiedler, but he's a winner.
Handoff. Williams. Sidestepping a tackle and then finally brought down inside the 10. He picks up 6 yards running to that left side. Brad Scioli combining with Mike Peterson to make the tackle.
And I'm really impressed with the way that all the players on this Miami Dolphins offense has picked up the scheme that Norv Turner has brought in. It's the first year. They struggled in the preseason. Didn't quite have everyone at the same time, but they picked up from week 1, and they've just been a machine. This is their second possession of the game, and they're knocking on the door once again.
Well, Fiedler told us Norv has actually simplified the offense for them to understand it, and you're right. The adjustment period hasn't been very difficult. Fiedler standing tall in the pocket, connects to Conrad for the touchdown. Untouched to the end zone, good for 9 yards. And Miami with 2 quick scores here in the first quarter.
So many weapons in the Miami Dolphins offense. We talked about McMichael, and you know about Chris Chambers, but here you'll see this is Conrad. He'll just come and he'll get right underneath the linebackers. It's just an arrow route. He'll go and he'll slide underneath, gets underneath the middle linebacker Rob Morris, and just walks right into the end zone for an easy touchdown. Breakdown defensively, no one accounting for the fullback coming out.
Orlando Mare with another extra point. He hasn't attempted a field goal yet this year because all they're doing is scoring touchdowns.
Boy, they're hitting on all notes inside the red zone. Here's a look at how the Dolphins scored their second touchdown of the game. Watch the middle linebacker Rob Morris, and then this is Rob Conrad, the fullback. He's going to get underneath. Once he gets underneath the middle linebacker, this is just going to walk in for the touchdown. Morris has to maintain position, inside leverage, so he can make that play totally out of position, and that's why it's an easy touchdown for the Dolphins.
And Jay Fiedler spreading it around in this first quarter as Mare kicks it out of the end zone. A touchback. Indianapolis will have it at the 20. They trail Miami 14-0. We'll come back. More first quarter by 2 touchdowns. Log on to NFL.com. Get up-to-the-minute scores and stats. Plus follow all of your favorite players all day long at NFL.com or on America Online. Enter keyword NFL.com. On first down for Indy, Peyton Manning. Soft toss over the middle and completes it to Marvin Harrison. Harrison getting his first catch of the day as Greenwood, the linebacker, makes the tackle. It's a gain of 6. Time for an NFL Today update. We go to New York. Jim Nantz.
All right, Ian, for the Super Bowl champion Patriots, Troy Brown has not caught a touchdown in the last 9 games. Here he receives it from Brady, and he fumbles at the goal line. Marvin Jones with the recovery, scoreless at Giant Stadium. Let's go back to Ian and Solomon.
Well, a battle from the AFC East, Jim, and that's what this used to be. You still got to get used to the idea that the Colts are in the AFC South.
For 32 years, this was a great rivalry in that division.
Handoff. Finding his way through the middle is Edgerrin James. And he picks up 6 yards. Good for a first down for Indy.
And that's what the Colts have to do. They have to really be patient. They're down 14-0. Don't try to get it all back in one play. Peyton Manning talked about 23 interceptions last year and 10 to force when they got down by a huge lead. So they have to remain patient and try to get it back a little bit at a time to get back into the ball game.
The cutting ability of Edgerrin James, those stutter step moves. And we've seen it already here in the first quarter. Out of the shotgun, Manning on first down. Fires. Marvin Harrison. Harrison out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Quick toss to Harrison, his favorite target, and it covers 16 yards.
And Harrison isn't a big receiver. He's 6 feet, 175 pounds, but you know, he goes down inside, very brave. But watch him come out of the break. He just explodes and leaves Surtain behind, and then he's gaining on Jamar Fletcher. He just explodes past the first down marker. But you see its size, 6 feet, 175 pounds. Not a really big guy, but very productive. He's caught more balls over the last 3 years than any other receiver in the National Football League.
His 94th consecutive game with at least one catch. That is a team record. And a first down for the Colts at the 48. Mix it with pass and run. Edgerrin James into Miami territory, running off tackle. And James is brought down by Rodgers, a gain of 6. Time winding down here in the first.
Yeah, this offensive line for the Colts, I think, is one of the most underrated groups in the National Football League. They do a good job of pounding up front, creating running room behind their left tackle, Tarek Glenn, for Edgerrin James. They just pound it right off that left tackle for the 6-yard gain.
Glenn, the man they call T-Bone, signed a 6-year, $30 million contract.
How about pork chop?
You want to tell him that? Solomon Wilcox, the rest of our CBS crew, with you from Indianapolis. Miami leading the Colts 14-0 as we get ready for second quarter action. Dolphins with that win over Detroit. Dave Wanstead, 9th year as a head coach in the NFL, 11-5 in each of his last 2 years as the head coach of the Dolphins. And Tony Dungy, 7th season as a head coach, of course 6 of them with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 55-42. That's his regular season record. Out of the shotgun, a handoff. Edgerrin James slipped through the hole and picks up another Indianapolis first down. So the Colts once again moving the football. Their first drive, unfortunately for them, ended up in a pick.
Yeah, and they're going to have to protect the ball, but see, these two guys, they're all-star backs in their own right. Look at the career numbers, 3,200 rushing yards for Ricky Williams and 4,000 career rushing yards for Edgerrin James. Only an 800-yard differential. Both only played in 38 games, so they're pretty close.
Manning had it tipped up again, this time by Harrison. Did Miami come up with it? They did. Jamar Fletcher with the interception, and Peyton Manning off 2 deflections, 2 interceptions.
They came in saying that on offense we have to protect the football. Peyton Manning's making good decisions getting the ball. They have to challenge this defense to squeeze the ball into tight spots, but this is the second time that the ball has gone off of one of his receivers into the hands of one of the Miami Dolphins defensive players. They're just making plays. That ball gets in the air against this defense. They're very opportunistic, and look at that play by Jamar Fletcher.
You know what? Fletcher, in this particular case, was helped by the body of Larry Chester.
And the rule states that the ball is alive until it hits the ground. It never did.
And Fletcher comes up with his first career interception. Fletcher in his 2nd year out of Wisconsin. Another Indianapolis turnover. Miami gets it back, and Williams is smashed trying to cross that line. Doring and Brock collaborate after the gain of 1.
Many of the Indianapolis Colts defensive players, Chad Brasky and Washington and Macklin, they all came in when we met with them, and they said, hey, we, for far too long, we've sort of taken the blame for what has gone wrong here in Indianapolis. Of course, they gave up the most points in the National Football League 1 year ago, and now they come out in the first quarter, put their team in the hole by 14 points, and now they're scratching and clawing their way to get back into the ball game.
Last week it was the defense that held off Jacksonville at the end. So far it's the Miami offense controlling as Williams spins his way for a gain of 2. Doring again involved in the tackle.
And now the defense cannot just look to go out and stop them, but they have to be more proactive and really force some turnovers and really try to score off of it. Marcus Washington picked off a Brunel interception last week, returned it for a touchdown, and that's what Tony Dungy teaches. Don't just get the turnovers, let's look to score, and he's done that throughout his coaching career as a defensive coordinator and as an assistant coach in the National Football League.
Dwight Freeney checks in, the rookie for Indianapolis, the speed rusher. Miami has Dedrick Ward as a 3rd wideout, and Edwards the 3rd down back. Out of the shotgun, Fiedler on 3rd and 7. Fiedler steps up, throws short of the marker. It's complete to Ward, but not enough for a first down. About 1.5 yards shy. They picked up 6. David Thornton touched him up, the rookie from North Carolina.
And that's what this cover 2 defense that they have here in Indy is designed to do. Allow them to make the catch, but no yards after the catch. They want good tacklers in the defense and prevent, of course, the Miami Dolphins from picking up the first down. That time they do an excellent job of fulfilling their assignments.
Mark Royals, first punt of the day for either team. Royals, a 14-year NFL veteran, punting to Troy Walters. Returnable punt from the 8. Walters circling, picks a hole, gets his way through it, but comes up short of the 20-yard line. Ed Perry on special teams. The tight end makes the tackle. 46-yard punt. Miami leads it 14-0. Miami Dolphins leading the Indianapolis Colts 14-0. 12:21 to go here in the second quarter. Indy takes over after their defense finally held off the Miami offense. And a 1st and 10, just short of the 19. Flags come flying down. Movement with Taylor and Joe Dean Davenport.
Prior to the snap, full start, 73. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Adam Meadows called on that penalty. Well, Saturday college football, it all begins with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman. Olympus College football today. And then a big-time rivalry game. Rex Grossman leads the Florida Gators into Rocky Top to meet Casey Clausen and the Tennessee Volunteers. Check it out next Saturday. And for more, go to CBSSportsline.com. Now a 1st and 15 from the 14. Manning darts one to Harrison. And Harrison able to accelerate after the catch to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 11. Another NFL Today update. We head to New York. Jim Nantz.
All right, guys, Tennessee at Dallas, and McNair on the play action to wide check. 89 games in a row. Number 89 has caught a pass. This one for a score. 7-0 Tennessee. Now let's go back to you.
Could be the start of a new rivalry with Indianapolis and Tennessee in the same division, the AFC South. Again, the cutting ability of Edgerrin James. You think he's going right. He quickly goes left, and then he's back right again.
He's really good at pressing the would-be tacklers as the safeties are coming up and looking to make a tackle. He's good at pressing back on the inside of the shoulder. Watch as the safeties come up. You see he'll just cut back inside again, heading north and south. Number 27, neither guy can really get a good shot on him, and that's what he's so good at. That's why he's so slippery and so really adept at breaking tackles.
How about the vision as well?
The vision is excellent. That's why he's one of the top backs in the National Football League.
Wayne in motion, handoff again. James, he's got a hole to work with. Edgerrin James, and stacked up at the 47-yard line. That's a gain of 9 on first down. Joe Dean Davenport helped him out with a block.
He's really good at pressing the hole as he slips underneath the right tackle, Adam Meadows. He keeps really good balance, able to stay on his feet and pick up yards after he's hit at the line of scrimmage. This is a guy that's very slippery. He hasn't really missed a step since coming back from that knee injury a year ago.
Now, Zach Thomas told us, hey, I heard he was playing flag football over the summer, so I'm not shocked he's okay.
He said, when I heard that, I knew it was not good news for the Miami Dolphins defense.
On a 2nd and 1, 9 carries, 66 yards for James. He'll get another opportunity. He's got a first down and a little bit more. Into Miami territory as he is brought down after the gain of 5 at the 48-yard line by Jermaine Haley.
You often hear everyone talk about the speed in the National Football League. Rookies come in and say, I'm overwhelmed by the speed to which things are happening. Edgerrin James is one of those guys. He uses that to his advantage. He's very patient. He allows the defense to over-pursue. Really good at slipping back underneath, making tacklers miss. He's also very powerful. Well, it looks like he's moving in slow motion, but he's still very quick.
New set of downs for Indy to work with. They've run 3 straight plays to James. And it will stay that way. Play fake. Manning to Harrison. He comes back for the football. Jamar Fletcher had the coverage. And they will spot the football just short of a first down, a gain of 9.
After the interception, you see Manning going back to Harrison, but you see the numbers that he put up going all the way back to 1999. 330 receptions. We said that's the most in the National Football League by any receiver. Over 4,600 yards and 42 touchdowns. He's one of 3 receivers to catch 100 balls for 3 consecutive seasons. No one's ever done it for 4 straight years.
Well, Harrison has 42 yards receiving here. Manning has 42 yards passing. No one else has caught a ball. James brought down as he was able to get away from one would-be tackler, and he picks up a yard, yard and a half, maybe 2. Agunlia combining with Rogers to make that tackle. First down, Indy.
This is a high-risk offense. They will throw the ball all over the field, but on this drive, they're electing to go more underneath the coverage. electing for more safer routes, safer patterns, and then keep the ball on the ground with Edgerrin James. So far, it's paying huge dividends.
Line of scrimmage just short of the 37. Again, Indianapolis is able to move the football, but their 2 drives so far have resulted in 2 Peyton Manning interceptions. Play action. Manning steps up, fires. Caught by Harrison. Harrison after the catch. And down at the 20-yard line. At that point, Jamal Fletcher backed off just to make sure that Harrison didn't beat him for more yardage.
Not only did he back off, he couldn't come out of the break quick enough to stay with Marvin Harrison. They're matched up in man-to-man coverage. Now watch Harrison turn around and come back, and look at that. Jamal Fletcher totally bought the route. He thought Harrison was going deep, but Harrison sold the fake, sold the upfield route, and able to break back toward the ball. Just huge room. Fletcher, he's just only in his 2nd year, still developing as a corner.
1st and 10 from the 21, and it looks like Fletcher's going to get a workout this afternoon. Handoff. James cutting to his left after the initial move of the line of scrimmage. Derek Rogers makes that stop after the gain of 3.
And number 94, Jermaine Haley, he's just shaking his head. He said, I had him in the hole. What happened?
Well, Solomon, you go into this game knowing that Indianapolis has a big 3 offensively with James, Manning, and Harrison. But so far today, there's nobody else offensively that's been involved.
And it's not from a lack of trying. They tried to get the ball to the tight end, Jermaine Wiggins, who's playing in place of Pollard, but he dropped the ball, ends up in the hand of Rodgers on an interception. So they're just going to go with what's safe, and that's their guys who they know are big-time ball players in big games, and let them make plays.
2nd and 7. Underneath route, somebody else does get involved. It's Troy Walters, but nowhere to move. Zach Thomas was all over that play, no gain.
And Thomas just sniffed that one out from the word go. He broke from his position to go over there. He sees Walters over there. He knows something's going on. Walters is not a guy that they usually throw the ball up the field to, so they see him slip underneath. They know it's a wide receiver screen. He's one of the smartest linebackers in the National Football League. He's making plays. He knows what's going to happen well before the ball is snapped.
Well, Thomas told us yesterday their defense, Miami, didn't play that well last week because they got off to such a huge lead. They got a bit lackadaisical.
So they're not used to playing with the huge leads, and then they allowed Detroit to get back in it, score 21 points in that game.
On 3rd and 8, Manning, standing tall in the pocket, completes it to James. And he tries to extend his arm. Did he get a first down is the question as Thomas makes the tackle.
Zach Thomas told us in the meeting, said, hey, they're going to have me in man-to-man coverage with Edgerrin James. Look at it. He's in man-to-man coverage with James. He breaks on the ball, takes a terrific angle, and then makes the tackle. How many middle linebackers can go out and play one-on-one with Edgerrin James?
Solomon, they needed 8 yards. They picked up 7. The fans here want Indianapolis to go for it.
Well, I think they should. You know, they're down by 14 points. They're at home. This is an opportunity to get back into the ball game. We talked about the offensive line and their ability to get movement. Edgerrin James is excellent in these situations.
De'Tron Smith sets up ahead of James in the backfield, and Manning takes a timeout. 5:27 to play until halftime. Indy faces a 4th and 1 when we return. 11th play of the drive for the Indianapolis Colts, a 4th and 1 from just outside the 13.
I'd like to see the Colts spread them out and run the ball. They're in an obvious run formation, but there's always a threat of play action.
Manning with Smith and James behind him. He sends Wayne in motion. Manning with a long count. Handoff, James right up the middle. James extending his body, and it should be enough for a first down.
And boy, was it close. It's a good stop by that defensive line, except they got no penetration. The Colts end up getting a slight push, and Edgerrin James is able to lunge forward. I think he was able to extend the ball and get the first down.
Rodgers in on the stop. Miami indicating that it'll be a first down the other way. It all depends on this spot.
That's right.
And from the initial look at it, I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. And it's all up to Edgerrin James. And we talk about the patience and the intelligent running. Most backs would just go and lunge their body and throw their body and leave their feet. But he was able to keep his feet and then extend the ball, even though his body hadn't crossed the first down mark.
And they've got it by more than half the football.
Just by half, that's right. Well, watch this. Not much of a push, but see, watch the balance of Edgerrin James. Now, he's hit, but then now he's still on his feet, and now he sticks the ball out and is able to lunge the ball forward, and the official is right on top of it. He sees where that ball is, and actually gave him a good spot. Tom Moore, I think one of the most underrated offensive coordinators in the National Football League. This offense has put up 400 points or more for 3 straight seasons.
On a 1st and 10 from the 11, they still can get a first down. Manning sends Wiggins in motion. Manning straight back. Pressure coming. Safety valve is James, but the throw is too low.
Peyton Manning wanted to go to his left, wanted to go to Qadry Ismail, but he fell down, and that's because of the very strong jam by Sam Madison. They want to get physical with these receivers. Look at this. He jams him, he throws him down. You could do that within 5 yards, but that's where Peyton Manning wanted to go with the ball. And Madison just took it away right away, and from there they were forced to really just dump the ball off.
Can you keep him down, though, like that?
You could do that. You don't have to let him up. As long as you're not holding on to jersey, it's a physical game.
You secondary guy.
Back.
Oh, come on.
Easy. That one's easy.
You throw out that defensive back mumbo jumbo.
He never sat on it.
2nd and 10. James slides through an opening, and he picks up 4 yards on 2nd down. Jay Williams involved in that stop along with Agunlea for Miami. Clock continues to roll. 4:35 and ticking left in the first half, and a 3rd and 6 upcoming.
Another 3rd down situation. I think this Colts offense has done a much better job when they've been able to spread out the defense and get the matchups. And Fletcher's the guy they've been working on so far. Let's see if they can make some money. Reggie Wayne is lined up against Fletcher right now.
Now James sets up in the slot out of the shotgun. Manning throwing into traffic and broken up. Patrick Surtain came rushing on a corner blitz, and Manning had to get rid of it. It's 4th down.
And that's because Wally Agunlea, he was the guy that came in and really got the pressure in the face of Peyton Manning. And the pressure is going to come right into his face right here from the right end. That's where they're going to get a good push. And they come in, and look at that. Ball's just selling right up. And actually, Jason Taylor sort of fooled him there a little bit, dropped off into coverage, and that's something Peyton Manning was not expecting.
The most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history, Mike Vanderjagt, with a 25-yard attempt that he splits the uprights. So Vanderjagt gets on the board for Indianapolis. Well, they trail 14-3. Indianapolis 3 with 4:03 to go until halftime. And coming up, it'll be the Nextel halftime report. Jim, Dion, Dan, Boomer will have all the scores and highlights. That's coming up, the Nextel halftime report. And those guys were going at it in the pregame.
They're fun to watch. And all of them great players in their own right, great personalities as well.
Vanderjagt on the kickoff. Albert Johnson, the return man from the 1, had a rough opening week last week. Johnson thought about the outside, decided to cut it inside, and got it to the 23-yard line. Nick Harper in on that stop along with Clifton Crosby. And a penalty flag on the play. It's been a fast-moving first half because of the long drives. That one took more than 8 minutes for the Indianapolis Colts. 15 plays, 74 yards. It results in a short field goal for Vanderjagt. Here's Walt Coleman.
Offsides on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
So they will do it again. Tony Dungy's team last week, it was the defense that came through down the stretch. Chad Bratsky and others telling us, hey, that was a new situation to be in when the coaching staff tells us, hey, go out and win this game for us.
Yeah, that's a situation that they're not accustomed to. In fact, last year, we're used to giving up so many points, the most in the National Football League, but they were just so poor in so many areas, and that's what Tony Dungy is facing. Look, last in points per game and 29th in yards per game, but this is the key thing. You know, you give up the most points in the National Football League, you're not going to be very good, and it really hurts an offense like the Colts who really want to attack and get up the field, and you know what? It causes more turnovers because now they have to take more chances.
Well, when Tony Dungy took over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were ranked 27th in defense the year before he got the job. The year he took over, they went to 11th. And after that, the 5 years remaining, they never finished below number 9.
Now, you could expect a top 10 ranking from a Tony Dungy defense because the cover 2 defense is designed to keep everything in front of you, make tackles, and don't give up the big plays. Now, they haven't given up the big plays now, but the Dolphins have just been methodical going right down the field and scoring 2 touchdowns.
Vanderjagt has the big leg, kicking off from the 25. Returnable kick for Johnson. And they end up picking up a little more yardage. And the line of scrimmage will be the 28. Donnell Thompson with a stop on special teams. We'll come back after this. Inside the RCA Dome, it's Miami 14, the Colts 3. And Miami gets the football back with a 1st and 10. Ball spotted just short of the 29-yard line. 3:51 to go until halftime. They'll shift the formation on 1st down. Conrad, the motion man. Fiedler, play action, spins, deep drop, sets it up for Ricky Williams. After the catch, Ricky Williams explodes down the sideline. Williams, a foot race, and brought down from behind. Chased down by Nick Harper by the shoelaces.
And boy, was there a burst of speed by Ricky Williams. Why the shifting before the snap? That's really to limit the amount of time that the defense has to adjust. And then all the defensive players are trying to rally to the ball. Excellent blocking up front, but then Ricky Williams is able to make players miss. It's good, strong, stiff arm on Idris Bashir on the free safety, and then Nick Harper racing over and just able to get a foot, or a hand, I should say, on the foot of Ricky Williams and tripped him up. Or this goes all the way to the house.
Longest career catch for Ricky Williams. It's 52 yards. Travis Minor in the game for Miami. Williams gets a rest. Draw play, Minor, and runs into a brick wall after he picks up 3 yards.
So we've already seen Ricky Williams run the ball out of the backfield. We talked earlier about his pass protection in terms of blocking for his quarterback. And there you see him catching the ball out of the backfield. He has said, I want to be more of a complete back. I want to be where Edgerrin James is and be able to showcase his many talents. So far today, he's doing it.
You know, it's funny. They've had really no meaningful contact. You would have figured these two guys linked from the '99 draft, but they don't really know one another.
They even have the same agent now. Yep. So both their careers just parallels one another.
2nd and 7 from the 16. Play fake. Bootleg. Fiedler. He's got some room. Off the stutter step. And Fiedler is hit as he goes down at the 10-yard line by Dwight Freeney, who was chasing. 6-yard gain, just short of a 1st down, and we will hit the 2-minute warning. Miami, we have seen all different looks from this Dolphins offense. They lead on the board. 3, 2 minutes to go here in the first half from the RCA Dome.
And right now, the Indianapolis Colts are trying to survive because they can ill afford to allow the Miami Dolphins to go up and get another touchdown here before the half. 21 points. That's just a huge hole that they're leaving their office to try to climb out of coming into the second half.
Miami has really dominated this series in recent years. They swept the Colts last year. And in fact, Dolphins have started 2-0 in 7 of their last 8 years. Right now they are facing a 3rd and 1. Double tight end set. Play action. Fiedler fakes the handoff, throws to Ricky Williams. Williams stutter step into the end zone. Touchdown, Miami.
And you have to give all the credit, first of all, to Fiedler being able to sell the play fake. But you're going to see a great block by Chris Chambers as he's able to shield the defenders, allow Ricky Williams to just waltz right into the end zone for a touchdown. He was really expecting to get hit and maybe have to break a tackle, but just excellent play calling also by Norv Turner. Look at the play fake. He hides the ball very well. Now you'll see Chris Chambers comes over and watch him just shield out the defenders. Idris Bashir can't get there, and Harper, of course, can't make contact till Williams is in the end zone.
Extra point from Mare. 4 plays, 71 yards. It took 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Ricky Williams, a receiving touchdown for the fifth time on the clock. Line drive kick, and is caught by an up man at the 25-yard line. Detron Smith, the former Denver Bronco, able to move it ahead to just short of the 40. Coming up next, Nextel halftime report. Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer. All the scores and highlights. Week 2 of the NFL season. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Dan Marino obviously was a part of this matchup for so many years. Chad Bradsky told us growing up in Florida as a 13-year-old, he got a chance to meet Dan Marino and got an autograph. It was the biggest thrill of his life.
It was the biggest thrill. He's not too thrilled right now, but just saw the shot of Jay Fiedler. He's the guy that had to fill in the big shoes left behind by Dan Marino.
And whistle blows it dead as Peyton Manning goes down on a cover-up. Indianapolis has 2 timeouts remaining. With 1:40 on the clock, they're in a 21-3 hole. There's Bratsky, who did have a sack last week and a forced fumble. Well, the defense today, they're struggling.
Have to be very disappointed. Simply because they're not on their keys and they're breaking down fundamentally. And I bet when we talk to Tony Dungy,
12 men on the field on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
if we were to talk to Tony Dungy about his defensive performance in the first half, he would tell you that, hey, we have guys who are not on their cues, who are not where they're supposed to be. You see John Terlink, he's the defensive line coach, and he's just not happy with the fact they're not getting any penetration, not getting pressure up the field, and then you have guys running around not in position in terms of where they're supposed to be.
First penalty on the Dolphins. That's their first of the season. Manning steps up in the pocket, under heat, and Manning tripped up from behind. Another flag down. Agunlea able to bring him down from the backside.
And this flag comes late from out of the secondary, and Qadri Ismail is complaining that he was being held.
So Miami with no penalties last week.
Holding, 29, defense. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, they go back to back.
Hey, they were going at it earlier in the ball game. We had already showed you how they were bumping one another, and that earlier time, Madison won the job. At this time, I don't know,
right.
Maybe a little acting job right there by Ismail.
We got the defensive back perspective.
That's right.
Come on.
Maybe just a little acting there. But these guys are going to go at it. These cornerbacks, Surtain and Madison, they are given the green light by their head coach, Dave Wannstedt, to become very physical at the line of scrimmage in terms of their bump and run technique.
1st and 10, Indianapolis from their own 48. Little flip underneath. James after the catch stumbles forward into Miami territory out across the 45 to the 43. Arturo Freeman will be given credit for the tackle, a gain of 9.
One of the few times we've seen Edgerrin James in the open field just lose his balance. He's able to keep his feet. He picks up the first down.
On 2nd and 1, James bulls his way forward for a first down.
Boy, he comes back with sweet feet on that run as he sort of picks his way through that defense and picks up the first down, but certainly good vision and good body control.
Under a minute to go now, first half. Clock continues to roll. Manning on the quick slant. Harrison accelerating after the catch. And another first down for Indianapolis as he is tackled at the 27-yard line. A pickup of 11. Timeout taken. 50 seconds to go. Miami leading Indianapolis with 50 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Line of scrimmage will be the 28-yard line for this Indy offense. And again, the Colts have been able to move the football. They just haven't turned it into points.
And they haven't been able to hit the big plays that they're so accustomed to. This Dolphins defense is forcing them to go the long route and keep snapping the ball. You keep making them do that, good things are going to happen for the defense.
Manning, deep drop, throws the long ball on the post pattern, intercepted. Patrick Surtain. He stepped in front of Reggie Wayne, and the 3rd pick of the day for Peyton Manning.
And Wayne's not able to get over the top and get position. Manning's going to force this one in there. Really didn't have his receiver open. Surtain was in good position all the way. You see him work in the middle of the field. And Wayne, he just drifts up the field. You have to get position, sort of play basketball here to come down with the rebound, but he was never on top of Surtain. Surtain, good leverage, playing underneath and just play the ball.
Surtain, though, comes up limping and is now going to need some help as he still remains in the end zone. He's walking towards the sideline.
Madison came in already banged up with an ankle, and now Surtain is a little bit gimpy going into the half.
Now, Patrick Surtain was a high school quarterback in New Orleans when Peyton Manning was there. And it was Surtain's team that won the state championship. We asked him who was the better high school QB. So, well, who won the states?
Yeah, he reminded us as to who won the state championship, but certainly paid a lot of credit to Peyton Manning. Manning threw 5 interceptions in the 2 games last year against the Dolphins. So far, 3 interceptions here in the first half.
Well, Miami still has 3 timeouts left, but they are going to go conservative as they take a knee. 36 seconds left now here in the first half. Now Tony Dungy disappointment in this defense, but let's face it, offensively they've had chances. Peyton Manning, some hard luck on the first 2 picks and just got intercepted for the 3rd time.
Absolutely. The one thing he wants out of his offense, he certainly wants them to be explosive, but the one thing he continues to harp on is, hey, we have to protect the football. And 3 interceptions in the first half, you're really going to dig a hole for yourself, and that's why they're down by 17 points. The defense's inability to get off the field on 3rd down and really just making a number of mistakes, allowing this Miami Dolphins offense to score 3 touchdowns in 4 possessions.
Home opener for the Indianapolis Colts, and they just heard some boos as they made their way towards the tunnel. End of the first half, Dolphins 21, the Colts 3. Stay tuned. It's the Nextel halftime report. That's coming up after this message and a word from your local station.
Later in the game, after they're down by 17 points, they're trying to force it into the end zone. In this we have to make something on offense. That time they were taking some shots at the end zone and didn't quite work out.
Off the kickoff, that's Indianapolis's version of Ricky Williams on the return. And just about everybody involved on special teams for Miami to make that play. Line of scrimmage will be right around the 34-yard line, and we'll see what the Colts can do here. First possession of the 3rd quarter.
And I'm sure what Tony Dungy mentioned to his offensive football team is, hey, guys, we cannot.
Concentration level and the hands to make that catch as they pick up 8 yards. Solomon Patrick Surtain, we are told, a left knee sprain. He will not return.
And that's going to be really crucial because Surtain and Madison both have been doing an excellent job on the outside, and right away the Colts are taking advantage of it, working Harrison against the 2nd-year cornerback Jamar Fletcher.
So Fletcher moves into a starter's role here to open up the 2nd half. He had been playing as that 3rd corner in a 3 wide receiver look for Indy. Handoff, James spinning away from one tackle, but penalty as Madison crowded Ismail. They've been battling all day long.
Well, they want a penalty, but they're not going to get it. It's just excellent coverage by Sam Madison. Was able to time the ball, not making really any collision with the receiver. Ismail just able to come through, get a hand in. Watch the
who had an adventure last week in that win over Detroit, and this could be considered a make or break game if he wants to remain on this roster.
That's right. He's going to have to make some plays. Had some miscues last week where he caught the ball, fielded a fair catch inside the 10-yard line, also had a fumble. So he's going to have to make better decisions if he's going to keep his job.
Penalty against the Miami Dolphins on the return. 2 penalties so far on the Dolphins. Still yet to see an off. After the penalty, Miami is pinned back at their own 6-yard line. They lead it 21-3. Something Chad Bratsky told us, the new philosophy of this defense, working on scoring, not just coming up with turnovers. Williams trying to find an opening, cannot. He is driven back by Corey. Crowd trying to get into it. 2nd and 11. Play clock winding down. Fiedler wants to throw. He does. Up high and caught by Chambers. Chris Chambers brought down at the 31, and it quiets the crowd here at the RCA Dome.
An excellent play by Chambers working against Walt Harris, the veteran cornerback.
A little bit of room.
It has been the Ricky Williams show. He's showcasing all his talents, able to get outside and break it off tackle. This is after catching a pass out of the backfield that he takes up the field, and then he catches another one and scores a touchdown. So he's shown that he could do ball out of the backfield, but his blocking has been crucial also in pass protection.
117 combined yards, 55 of which on the ground, and add Williams picks up 8 yards on 1st down. Chambers comes in motion. Fiedler, play action. Locks in on Chambers down the sideline and intercepted. Macklin got spun out of bounds at midfield. Indianapolis looking for some kind of lift.
He tacked on to the end of the run, 15-yard penalty.
The field position for this Indianapolis offense after Gadsden was called on the personal foul.
I mean, watch the intended receiver. They're just going to come across the field. Fiedler's just trying to get it to Gadsden, but it's just an overthrow. Macklin doing the perfect job in that cover 2 zone, keeping everything in front. And really what Tony Dungy likes to teach is tips and overthrows. We have to make the play. This is an overthrow by Jay Fiedler. Macklin gets the interception.
I'm not sure if they had the right number on the penalty because I didn't see a problem from Gadsden. And right now it doesn't matter. The line of scrimmage is the 35. Motion man, Wiggins. Manning. Play fake. Manning. Fire. Harrison out of bounds. He could not curl into the end zone. Out of bounds at the 2, working on Jamar Fletcher. No contest.
Yeah, we said they would do it with Patrick Surtain out of the ball game. They're going up against Fletcher. Harrison's been able to beat him all day, and this is easy. He just runs right at the sideline. Fletcher must have been expecting some help from the safety over the top. He never got it. But this is the formula to get back into the ball game. The secondary or the defense has to make a play, create the turnover, and then big plays by the offense, and now they have to get the ball into the end zone. Can't settle for a field goal here.
Huge stats for Marvin Harrison. A 1st and goal from the 2. James and Smith in the backfield. Up the middle, and nothing there. Edgerrin James is forced backwards by this Miami defense.
And the Colts have been here before. Had to settle for a field goal earlier in the game. Now it's 4-down territory. You're not going to get back into this game by kicking field goals. Tony knows it. Said just prepare yourself. Matt Vanderjagt has no reason to start warming up at this point.
2nd and goal for Indianapolis. They trail 21-3. Manning, the give, James, bodies bumping on the inside, and not enough for a touchdown. Zach Thomas and Jermaine Haley made sure of it for Miami.
And they're going to spot this just short of the goal line. Really no movement up front. Not enough up front by the Colts offensive line. They just get stonewall. Look at Zach Thomas right there in the middle of it. He's always going to get his hat on the ball. Edgerrin James gets turned around, not able to give it the second effort and lunge into the end zone.
Well, 2 straight runs. We know Peyton Manning is the king of play action, but take a look at who's on the sideline right now.
Yeah, this is mano-a-mano. You just have to have some power.
3 tight end set. Waverly Jackson, eligible receiver. Handoff. James puts the helmet down. Did he get there?
No signal from the officials. Only the Colts are raising their hands up.
Colts asking for the score. Moreland Greenwood made the stop. And Miami has held off Indy once again on 3 straight running plays, right at the doorstep.
Yeah, and they pounded in 3 straight times and not able to really gain much. It doesn't offer much encouragement for Tony Dungy. How can we not gain a yard? Look at the overhead. There's Zach Thomas getting in the hole. They're just squeezing it shut. Also, the other players, Marlon Greenwood coming in, getting the helmet in the hole.
4th and goal. Big play for Indianapolis. Manning on a handoff. James not going to get there. Miami's defense rises to the challenge, led by Zach Thomas.
And the reason why is because the push comes from the Miami Dolphins.
Defense comes through.
And by Guinness Draft Stout. Enjoyed responsibly the world over.
Indianapolis unable to punch it in, Solomon.
Yeah, watch the right side of the defensive line. Jay Williams, 91. Jason Taylor just collapsed it. That forces Edgerrin James to bounce. And then the speed of middle linebacker. Of course, Zach Thomas comes up to make the tackle.
And look at this. Ricky Williams running and a flag down. On a 1st and 10 from the 2, Indianapolis again with a chance to make a play defensively to maybe change the complexion of this game. And Williams gets out and makes a strong move, but that penalty marker, and the Dolphins are marching back to the end zone.
And the Colts defense is going to continue to have to fight to stay in this game.
84, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
That's why. running backs in the NFL. Ricky Williams, a good fit with the Miami Dolphins, so it would appear. Edgerrin James has already had huge seasons as a member of the Indianapolis Colts.
They share more than the common hairdo. Both guys are equally tough to bring down, maybe for different reasons. James is shifty and very tough to tackle, but Williams, he's just a load, a run right through you.
3rd and short. And Jay Fiedler takes it himself for a first down for Miami. So the drive will continue with 5:40 left in the 3rd quarter.
The Colts are going to have to continue to hang in there and have to defend the run first. Take away the threat of Ricky Williams running up through the middle of your defense. Force him into 3rd and long, and that's where you look to create the turnovers. But you have to win on 1st and 2nd down to create that opportunity.
Dave Wanstead, 4-1 in his career against the Indianapolis Colts. And his team has a 1st and 10. Handoff. Williams taking it to the outside. Williams hurdling and game tackled at the 33-yard line. He has shown you a little bit of everything so far this afternoon. That's a pickup of 19 yards.
And the reason why is because they pulled the big 330-pound guard, Jamie Nails. Watch number 66. There he is. You can't miss him. He just gets right over the top of Mike Peterson, creates a nice running lane for Ricky Williams. I'm sure he's going to take Nails out to dinner, reminiscent of what we saw last week when he threw a nice block on a 37-yard run by Ricky.
Nails has lost 60 pounds. He was out of football last year. A former member of the Buffalo Bills. Travis Minor in the game. Minor gets the call and runs into a crowd. You know, another thing, Solomon, talking to Dave Wanstead, he told us Ricky Williams last year played at about 252.
Incredible.
Wanstead said that Ricky weighed in on Friday at 229, and Ricky is so proud of himself for shaving that weight off.
And one of the things he doesn't get enough credit for is how hard of a worker he is. He's the consummate team player, really wants a lot of the praise to go towards the offensive line and many of his teammates, but he puts in the hard work. Needed to lose the weight so that he can become more of that complete player, that explosive running back out of the backfield, willing to catch passes as well.
On a give for Travis Minor, and he is stacked up by the combination of Morris and Washington.
Minor has seen his role as the 3rd down back sort of diminished in this offense with the emergence of Robert Edwards, who caught several balls last week and scored 2 touchdowns. So, you know, Minor is certainly more than capable back, very explosive, but Robert Edwards has been a guy who's just come on so strong and carved out a niche on this football team.
Wanstead told us this is not a charity project with Robert Edwards.
That's right.
He had to earn his spot on the football team. Yes, it's a nice comeback story, but he is a contributor, and he sets up on the outside as receiver. On 3rd down, underneath, Edwards couldn't catch it cleanly. That's a dead ball. And incomplete.
Yeah, it's really one of the first drop a ball. They were really surprised with his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. Wasn't used much in this role when he was with the Patriots as a 1,000-yard rusher, but certainly one he wished he had another opportunity to haul it in, because that hit him right in the hands.
Well, Miami forced to punt. Troy Walters is standing at his own 24 from the punt of Mark Royals. High punt. Walters, fair catch at the 21. And that's where the Colts will have it after the 48-yard boot by Royals. 21-3. Late stages 3rd quarter. Miami has the lead over Indianapolis. Hey, it's not too late. Fantasy football leagues are still forming. To sign up now, just click on fantasy at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Indianapolis with a 1st and 10 from their own 22. Manning on a handoff. Edgerrin James. And the Miami Dolphins were ready defensively. No gain on the play as Jason Taylor helped make that play out along near the sideline.
There has to be some pride in this Indianapolis Colts offense, starting up front with the offensive line. We're doing a really good job in the first half creating running room for Edgerrin James. So far 82 yards rushing in the ball game. They're going to have to reestablish some run, and then I think they're going to have to take some shots in the passing game. Go up against Jamar Fletcher. Harrison's had a big day so far working against the 2nd-year player.
Coming up on 2 minutes to go on the third quarter. Manning out of the shotgun. Manning steps up, throws on a cross to James. James makes a man miss and then moves forward right at the marker. It looks like a little bit short as Trent Gamble made that stop.
The man he was able to make miss was Zach Thomas, who was in on the coverage to it. Really have done a pretty good job covering Edgerrin James in man-to-man coverage out in space. That time Edgerrin James showed the patience and able to cut back underneath Zach Thomas and very close to picking up a first down, just 1 yard short.
Ball spotted at the 31. It's going to have to happen here for this Indianapolis offense, trailing 21-3. James in the backfield with Smith. Miami crowds the line. James waits for the hole to develop, cuts, and a flag down. Edgerrin James had enough for the first down as he picked up 3. Moreland Greenwood on the tackle, but a penalty marker.
It's going to go against the Colts. Flag came down late.
So they'll sort out exactly who the guilty party was, and frustration so far today for Tony Dungy.
Holding, 78. Offense, 10 yards. Penalty, still third down.
That's the big tackle, Tarek Glenn. Now in his 6th year from California. Has not been to a Pro Bowl, but has played at a Pro Bowl level.
He was given a Pro Bowl contract during the offseason, 5 years, $30 million package. So he struggled today, at least somewhat, against Jason Taylor, who's really been able to apply pressure and get penetration against the run.
And it turns into a 3rd and 9 for Indy. 4 receiver look. Dime package for Miami. Down to 1:15 to go in the third quarter. This Indy offense has been quiet. Manning steps up and throws. Timing route. And Harrison can't hold on to it. A juggle. It would have been well short of a first down anyway, as Trent Gamble was in on the coverage for Miami, and Indy's forced to punt.
It's one of the second drops we've seen by Harrison, who's had a pretty good day. 8 receptions on the day, but one ball that hit his hands in the first quarter ended up in the hands of Jamar Fletcher on the interception, and this one on a crucial 3rd down, not able to make the grab and missed the opportunity to continue to move the chains.
Another punt for Hunter Smith with Albert Johnson waiting at his own 27. Smith, a booming punt. Backpedaling. Johnson from the 13. Johnson circling and then felt the impact of the tackle on special teams at the 26. And a flag down. 16-yard return. And the penalty flag against Indianapolis. It's been that kind of day.
It has been that kind of
Holding,
day.
40. Kicking team, 10-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Penalty called on Brian Ligib. And they will back this one up into deeper position for Indy.
Yeah, he'll take the wing man. You'll see it right there. He just grabs him because that's Brock Marion coming around the corner, potentially trying to block the punt. And Ligib, all he does is just reach out and grab him. Better to re-tee it and snap it again than to have him block the punt.
Well, now the line of scrimmage is the 12-yard line, and Hunter Smith is going to be backed up. Dedrick Ward has now come onto the field for Miami instead of Albert Johnson. So Dave Wanstead makes the change, and Ward, the 3rd receiver for Miami offensively, will get a crack on special teams, standing at his own 42. Smith from his end zone. Line drive, returnable. Ward from midfield. And brought down in Indianapolis territory at the 46-yard line. Clifton Crosby, the stop on special teams, but right now it's a mismatch. Miami in front.
Raid Thirst Quencher. It's in the NFL. Is it in you? And by High Endurance Clear Gel from Old Spice.
21-3, Miami leading Indianapolis. Final 47 seconds of this third quarter. It's been a long afternoon for these Colts fans, and it's been a fun afternoon for Ricky Williams. 16 carries, 95 yards. He is on the verge of going over 100 for the second straight week. And Williams is in the backfield right now. Chambers in motion on first down. Handoff, Williams. Straight through the middle, and Ricky picks up 3 yards. Rob Morris, the middle linebacker, with the stop.
And more on Ricky Williams. He told us he expects He's been given a new lease on life as he's come over to the Miami Dolphins, left a situation in New Orleans where didn't quite feel very comfortable and felt like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. He says coming here, there are other guys in the offense who are expected to carry the load as well, and he is fit in well right away.
2nd and 7 for Miami. Should be the final play of this third quarter. Play fake. Fiedler has the time. Over the middle and broken up. Walt Harris, the former Bear, and Gadsden was the intended receiver for Miami. Fiedler, great field position for Miami. Will they take advantage of it? Fiedler fires. Complete to Randy McMichael. And Mike Peterson with a stop. They convert on third down for a gain of 10. And this drive will continue when we come back. End of the third, 21-3 Dolphins. We'll return to the RCA Dome after this message and a word from your local station. Crew with you from Indianapolis. Miami 21, the Colts 3. We have seen no scoring in the second half so far as we start you off in the fourth quarter. Peyton Manning, 3 interceptions today, and Manning now has 17 picks in his career against Miami. 1st and 10 from the 32. Flag down as Fiedler hands it off to Ricky Williams. Defense as Williams is brought down inside the 20-yard line.
There's going to be a flag down, but the Colts, their defensive line, they're taught to get
extra space to work with. That's a pickup of 7. Well, they've been rotating, and they've been trying to find a go-to guy in that backfield. It was Parmalee, 94-95, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for a few seasons, Cecil the Diesel and J.J. Johnson. They went with the youngsters, and Lamar Smith the last 2 years. Smith did go over 1,000 yards back in 2000.
That's right, and then just disappeared last year, but now they feel like they have a young running back in Ricky Williams who will just continue to get better.
No secret, they give it to Williams again. And Williams is tackled head-on by Rob Morris one-on-one. It's a gain of 1. Well, Dave Wanstead told us yesterday in the deal that they made with the New Orleans Saints, said it was a no-brainer. Who were they really going to get at number 26 that was going to help their football team in the first round? That's what they ended up giving up, a conditional second-round pick as well, if Williams hits certain numbers statistically.
Felt like he was getting a player who was so ready to play. Didn't think he could get someone at that 26 overall pick that would equal the talents and ability of Ricky Williams. He's proven to be right so far.
On 3rd and 1, Fiedler, a give to Williams, runs into a crowd and spun down. Looks like it's short of the marker. We'll see where they spot the football. Clock is moving. 13 minutes to go.
here. This is what we saw. You can see he's coming down. Can't quite see it right there, but there was contact made by Sam Madison well before the ball had even been thrown.
On a 1st and 10 from the 48. Long count for Manning. Handoff, Edgerrin James. Into Miami territory, and he's brought down by Jason Taylor. Pickup of 6. We go to New York. Jim Nantz.
All right, Ian, how about this? The Jets have 2 first downs for the day, one coming on a fake punt. But earlier, it was Testaverde hit, fumbling to Bucky Jones, recovers, runs it in, touchdown. It's now 20-0 New England. 3.5 to go in the third. Back to you.
We're talking about an underdog team, the New England Patriots. Amazing.
A team that is much improved from a year ago.
Manning to Harrison. And Peyton Manning able to buy himself a little extra time with a scramble, throwing at Jamar Fletcher. Just to remind you that Patrick Surtain left this game with a left knee sprain at the end of the first half.
And Fletcher's trying to fill in. Can't quite stay with the much quicker Harrison. That's because he's got his eyes in the backfield, and what you have to do is watch the receiver. That's why it's man-to-man coverage. Keep your eye on your coverage and move your feet. His eyes are locked in the backfield, not able to stay with Marvin Harrison.
Manning has 169 yards throwing the football, 125 of which have come to Marvin Harrison. On a 1st down. Little timing flip to Joe Dean Davenport. They miss Marcus Pollard, don't they?
They miss him big time. Joe Dean Davenport, he's coming out of the backfield. Didn't even get his head around, as if he was not expecting the ball. Manning throws it out there and drops it right in the breadbasket. You have to make the catch. We already said Jermaine Wiggins, who dropped a reception earlier, which turned out to be an interception. He wasn't going to get the ball anymore. Joe Dean Davenport may not get it either.
Joe Dean, a former basketball player at Arkansas. Signed as a free agent last year, now in his 2nd season with Indianapolis. Here's James. Edgerrin James spinning across the 25. Zach Thomas in on that step, and a pickup of 7 for James. So the numbers are piling up for Edgerrin James, who finished with 99 yards last week. He's got 99 so far today.
How would you like to be less than 100% and still be as good as Edgerrin James? His ability to run the ball and pick his way through the defense and catch the ball out of the backfield. Just an excellent ball player.
Under 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Indianapolis must have a touchdown on this drive if they have any chance. Joe Dean Davenport in a matchup with Freeman, and a flag down. Fans appreciate the call. Dave Wanstead ready to pull the hair out of his head.
And Arturo Freeman just riding over the back of Joe Dean Davenport. And Dave Wanstead, he wants his defensive backs to be very aggressive in coverage, but that time you have
interference, 27.
Yeah.
Defense.
You have to be able to time up the ball.
1st down.
Not even sure that Joe Dean Davenport is catching that ball, but it doesn't matter.
And that's probably why you've seen the protest by Dave Wanstead, maybe arguing that the ball was uncatchable.
So the football is placed at the 20-yard line. 9:47 showing on the clock. 21-3. That was our halftime score. That remains our score here in the 4th quarter. Wanstead continues to voice his opinion from the sideline. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Indy. James by himself in the backfield, a 3-receiver set. On the give to James. Pretty good pursuit by Miami, and Edgerrin still makes something out of it. He picks up 4 yards to the 16-yard line.
And that is the greatness of Edgerrin James. He is able to make unblocked tacklers, would-be tacklers, he's able to make a miss. And that time Zach Thomas shot in and was able to really get by him. It wasn't until he got to the 2nd level that they were able to make the tackle.
It's a franchise record for Edgerrin James. He was tied up with Eric Dickerson for 24 100-yard games in his career. Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison. Touchdown, Indianapolis. 16-yard strike. And the Colts with 9:11 showing on the clock.
And it's the pump fake by Peyton Manning that holds the safety. It allows Harrison to get over the top of Jamar Fletcher, but watch the safety coming over. He's just too late. That's Arturo Freeman, because Peyton Manning had the pump fake, held him for one step. Creates enough room for Harrison to get over the top and get the touchdown.
Well, you figured at some point they would be able to take advantage of the absence of Patrick Surtain as Vanderjagt tacks on the extra point. And you look at the scoreboard, 21-10, just over 9 minutes to go. Indianapolis still alive. Trail by 11. Marvin Harrison with the touchdown reception, his 10th catch of the day.
Looks like an onside kick coming here.
And Miami now adjusting. Vanderjagt. Little fake. He pooches it on the other side. Out of bounds. Not what the Colts needed, and Vanderjagt
Not a good kick.
with hands on his helmet. What happened?
You have to drive the ball. When the ball hits and goes out of bounds without being touched, now it's going to be a penalty against the Colts, giving them excellent field position. Never gave the gunner, who was lined up on the left side, an opportunity to get down and field the football. He kicked it too far and too far to the sideline.
For the kicking team, that penalty's declined. Kick out of bounds. For the kicking team, that penalty will be accepted. 30 yards from the spot of the kick. First down.
Now he's trying to get the hang time, but he ends up kicking this ball too deep and too far towards the sideline. The ball goes out of bounds. There's 31, Clifton Crosby, who's meant to recover the kick.
Well, Miami will have outstanding field position when we return. Bounce for Mike Vanderjagt. Indianapolis would have been looking at a 1st and 10 for their offense inside Miami territory, but it went out of bounds. Dolphins get it. First down at their own 40. Fiedler throwing on first down. Chambers brings it in. A clean catch right near midfield in his one-on-one matchup with Walt Harris. Good for 9 yards. NFL.com, whole question this week. Who is the best NFL quarterback of all time? Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, John Elway, Johnny Unitas, Dan Marino, Steve Young. Cast your vote at NFL.com. I'm going to abstain.
Johnny Unitas, hard to go against number 19 for the Colts. The first quarterback in NFL history to pass for over 40,000 yards. But Joe Montana, 4 Super Bowl rings, not one interception in a Super Bowl. He gets the
Prior
vote.
to the snap, false start, 81. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So the rookie Randy McMichael called on a false start. Instead of a 2nd and 1, they will back it up. 2nd and 6 upcoming. Well, Miami team leaders for Dave Wanstead today. Fiedler, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. Williams has gone over 100 for the 2nd straight week. And Chris Chambers, 4 catches, 57 yards for the exciting 2nd-year player out of Wisconsin. 2nd and 6. Crowd trying to play a role here. They've been quiet throughout the afternoon. Fiedler throws it complete. McMichael, and another flag thrown as he is caught right near midfield by at the 50. Brad Scioli provided pressure on Fiedler, and another penalty against Miami. This is an offense that had no penalties called against them last week.
Holding, 71. Offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
It's a crucial time to have the holding call on Todd Wade, because they had the reception by Randy McMichael. He was just going to be 1 yard shy. So instead of facing a 3rd and 1, now they're facing 2nd and 16.
Line of scrimmage is the 34. We will hit the 8-minute mark here in the 4th. Miami 21, Indianapolis 10. Fiedler on a handoff to Ricky Williams. Tried to dance his way out of David Thornton's tackle. Could not. A loss of 1.
And now the energy just floods back into the RCA Dome. Number 50, David Thornton. He's a guy that's going to scrape after they make the play bounce, and watch the short tackle wrapping up the legs of Ricky Williams render his power very useless on that play.
Robert Edwards, 3rd down back, checks in on a 3rd and 17. Colts players asking the fans to get more vocal. Three receiver look. Fiedler beats the play clock. Fiedler avoids the rush. Underneath pass, Edwards. And well short. David Thornton, first man there. And a pickup of 5. Miami forced to punt with 6:49 and counting left.
An important play by Jay Fiedler not to try to force it down the field and throw an interception. His defense has been playing very well all day. Only giving up 1 touchdown so far today, so you have to come out and punt. That's okay. Now you turn it over to your defense and hope that they can win the game for you.
Mark Royals will punt it. Troy Walters waiting. Royals hangs one high from the 12. Walters, shake and bake move, and then sandwiched at the 23-yard line. Trent Gamble involved with Sean Wooden on special teams, a 50-yard punt. 6:13 to go in the fourth. Miami 21, Indianapolis 10. Dolphins have controlled this one right from the very beginning, scoring on their first drive, but Indy has shown some signs of life here. A 4-receiver set with Manning out of the shotgun, 1st and 10 from the 23. Manning has the time, floats it over the middle to Edgerrin James. James towards the sideline and tackled at the 43. Brock Marion makes the tackle, but that was after a 19-yard scamper by James.
Yeah, they just run the receivers, just really clear out that area of the field. They're able to hit James, who checks out of the backfield, and just an excellent job.
They hurry up to the line of scrimmage, and a first down for Indy. Manning, quick toss, it's low. Looking for Harrison, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Clock stops, 5:37 to go in the fourth.
And the Dolphins have changed their matchups. Now you're going to see Sam Madison covering Marvin Harrison, as Harrison's just been having his way with Jamar Fletcher, and Fletcher's moved over to cover Qadry Ismail, who's yet to catch a ball so far in the game.
Manning has completed 16 passes, 10 of which have gone to Harrison, 5 to James, and 1 to Troy Walters. Out of the gun, movement, flag is down, looks like a free play for Manning. Fires and complete to Ismail. Dropped the football.
Yeah, the ball was never caught. It was going to come back anyway. The left tackle, Tarek Glenn, moved before the ball was snapped.
Offside, 93, defense.
Coaxed
5-yard
offside.
penalty, still 2nd down.
Ogunleye.
There was movement by the Dolphins first.
Ogunleye out of Wanstead noticed him when he went to visit his daughters at school. Both daughters attended IU, Carrie and Jamie, and he made Ogunleye his personal project.
That's right, as he was up there watching the ball game and brought him in. Now in his 3rd year, he gets the start.
2nd and 5 from the 47. Manning under a rush and forced to dump it off to Edgerrin James. Zach Thomas came sliding in.
He was a slasher. He read that one and just came knifing in. Was able to beat off the block and make the tackle.
It's a loss of 1. 3rd and 6. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the fourth. Manning throws, one-on-one coverage and a flag down. Fletcher with Ismail.
And Fletcher's just doesn't have the timing, doesn't have the footwork in his 2nd year of the National Football League. They said that he had an excellent week of practice and made a number of plays, but he's seeing it at a different
Pass
speed.
interference, 21, defense, automatic, first down.
11th penalty of the day called on the Miami Dolphins, and Fletcher's had a long afternoon.
And he gives them another first down. They're trying to get the ball to Ismail. He's working in that matchup against Fletcher. Fletcher, they've been picking on him all day. He knows that with 2 cornerbacks like Surtain and Madison, he's going to see a lot of action.
They are in Miami territory at the 49. Once again out of the shotgun. Manning wide open. It's Edgerrin James. Little juke move to the outside, and another Indy first down as he angles out of bounds at the 38. Zach Thomas have the coverage one-on-one, 11 yards through the air.
And Zach Thomas, I think, is really doing an excellent job in coverage. Not many starting middle linebackers in the National Football League you can put one-on-one with Edgerrin James, but they're going to have to give him some help, allow him to take an inside-out approach where they bring a second defender in to cover the outside while he takes away the inside.
Indy is on the move. 1st and 10 at the Miami 38. Pump fake. Manning has the time. Manning too high in the direction of Qadry Ismail. And maybe some miscommunication.
He had Fletcher turned around. There was a pump fake there. Maybe he was expecting him to turn and go on the out and up, but Ismail broke it off toward the sideline. And that time, Peyton Manning just overthrows the ball. That time he was open, had Fletcher beaten on the play.
Clock at 4:52. Tony Dungy's club trying to rally. They've been outplayed here this afternoon. Trailing 21-10. Draw play. James through the middle. And Edgerrin is able to move it to the 32-yard line, a pickup of 6. But now the clock is trickling away. 4:35 and counting.
And they're in 4-down territory. They're going to just keep going for it. No sense in bringing out the field goal team. They're going to go for it on 3rd and 4th down if they have to.
Out of the shotgun, Manning. On a 3rd and 4. Manning throws. Catch made by Ismail. He lost the football at the end. Was he down?
The official saying that he was down. But a good catch. Manning just rifles this ball in there to Ismail. He catches it with all hands, able to turn upfield and pick up the 1st down. Watch, the inside receiver clears out underneath, and so Ismail just goes right underneath, goes inside and catches the ball. Fletcher can't make up the ground.
First catch of the day for Qadry Ismail. 1st down from the 23. Manning, timing pattern. Incomplete. Harrison with double coverage. It was Madison one-on-one, and then Brock Marion came over to help.
And there's the difference in coverage. Fletcher not able to get the jam, but Madison disrupts the timing of the play because he gets his hands on the receiver, stems him and widens him, and that's why the ball is now 2 yards further up the field from where Harrison would be had not Madison got the jam. Excellent job of getting his hands on the receiver and disrupting the timing of the route. 9th
play of the drive. Desperation time for Indianapolis. 3:47 to go on the 4th. An 11-point differential. Manning has been working out of the shotgun. Manning guns one. Near sideline. Diving catch by Reggie Wayne. The University of Miami product. Inside the 10.
And Reggie Wayne, he bails Peyton out on this one because Peyton does fire the ball but just overthrows it a little bit. But Wayne has the ability to stretch out and make a very difficult catch as he's diving for the ball before he's.
Of the day. It's good for 14 yards. It's a 1st and goal from the 9. 3:41 left in the 4th. Manning back to throw, lobs it towards the end zone. Incomplete. Jermaine Wiggins guarded by Arturo Freeman, and it was a high toss.
And that's where this offense, I think, has really struggled today. They're missing Pollard, the big tight end, who's really adept at making these catches, but he was really shielded from there. He had position. Arturo Freeman is allowed to have that position. Wiggins just turned upfield, and Arturo Freeman had excellent position. Did they have their hands on one another? Yes, they did. But by his position on the field, they're going to allow them to make that play.
They did get tangled in the end zone. It's 2nd and goal from the 9. Back to the shotgun for Manning. 3:37 left in the 4th. Manning steps up, throws underneath, deflected ball, and almost picked off.
And every time a ball is deflected in the red zone, 9 times out of 10, that ball is going to come down to the ground and as an incomplete. This ball is hit up in the air. Normally, someone's going to make a play on that ball. But I was saying before that Marcus Pollard, his absence, he's out due to injury. And right now, Manning is normally going to spread the ball around to a number of different receivers. We've seen Wayne as well as Ismail make their very first catch on this possession. Normally, those balls are going to be evenly distributed with the lion's share of them going to Harrison and Pollard.
Manning setting things up on a 3rd and goal. Manning flushed out of the pocket. Manning throws on the run. Wayne comes back for the football, but it's a short gainer. With 3:22 and counting left. And they are going to send the field goal unit onto the field because you still need 2 scores. You get the field goal here, it's 21-13, and you're still going to have to try the onside kick.
Absolutely, and Vanderjagt has been a guy that's been very accurate throughout his career.
Mike Vanderjagt on for a 24-yard attempt. Vanderjagt, a hold from Hunter Smith. So the Colts inch closer, but they're still going to have to make a play on special teams, it appears.
CBS is sponsored by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cold down easy. And by the flame-broiled Whopper from Burger King, America's favorite burger. At BK, you've got it.
Couple of decisions that Tony Dungy has faced, electing to go for the field goal on 4th down.
And he still needs a touchdown now and a 2-point conversion. So I would have elected to go for it right then. They were moving the ball, showing good rhythm, and you have to once again go after Fletcher, who's been giving up some big plays. I would have elected to go for the touchdown.
Set up the onside kick. This one in the air, fumble towards the sideline and out of bounds. And that was the other decision. Do you onside kick or do you kick off and trust your defense with 3 timeouts? Randy McMichael was the one that guided it towards the sideline.
Much better kick that time by Vanderjagt because the ball stayed in play. They didn't give up excellent field position. Was able to pooch it over the head of McMichael, and hopefully the defensive backs try to get the ball, but see, it stays inbound even though he had to bat it maybe several times, 3-4 times before they get it out of bounds.
Solomon, just to go back for a moment, keep in mind though, if you don't get it on 4th down, game's over.
Game's over, absolutely.
Right now Indianapolis does have a chance with 3 timeouts left, 2:51 to go. Their defense has to come up big. Handoff, Ricky Williams. They haven't been able to stop him today. And they still cannot. Ricky Williams cuts to the outside. But why do you go out of bounds there is the question.
Yeah, you have to keep your mind about you and try to stay in bound. Other than that, excellent job by Ricky Williams bouncing it outside of the left tackle, Mark Dixon. And they just collapsed that entire right side of the Colts defensive line.
Line of scrimmage will now be the 40-yard line. Ricky Williams has 131 yards rushing on 23 carries. 1st and 10. Each team has their full complement of timeouts remaining, and the 2-minute warning is still there. Williams lunges into a crowd.
And last week in Jacksonville, Tony Dungy told his defense, hey, really showed themselves strong down the stretch of the ball game, but now they're going to have a chance to really create a turnover, stop this Miami Dolphins offense and get the ball back for their team so that they can have an opportunity to win today.
Chad Bratsky slow to get up, and he is able to stand up on his own power as the training staff came out just to make sure. Timeout taken. 2:40 left here in the 4th quarter and an 8-point disparity. Well, coming up next, doubleheader action continues. Brian Greasy and the Broncos battle Terrell Owens and the 49ers, while Drew Bledsoe leads the Bills against Randy Moss of the Vikings. Houston at San Diego as well. Check your local listings. And for more, you can always go to CBSSportsLine.com, America Online, keyword CBS Sports Line. 2nd and 9. They gave Williams a yard on that run. Williams remains in the backfield with Conrad. Chambers in motion. Fiedler, play fake. Fiedler steps up, loses the football. Chad Bratsky knocked it away, and who's got it? A fight for it in that pile, and Miami has held on. Oh, what a sequence that would have been.
Just a great play by Bratsky, using his speed to get around the corner and force the fumble.
And it's tough guy Jay Fiedler coming up with the loose ball.
Bratsky coming around from the blind side looking for the strip. He's taught by his defensive coach, John Terlink. He says, hey, it's not enough to get the sack. We want the sack and the strip, and you can tell he's following the script. Look at the right hand, able to get the ball out, but Fiedler fighting, holding on for dear life.
Well, he was fortunate. It fell right in front of him, and he was able to cover up, but he took a shot on the play. It appeared to be on the bridge above his nose.
Bratsky comes in 15 pounds lighter. Thought that if he could shed some pounds, he would fit into this defense where they want you to have speed and quickness up front to get the penetration. So far on the day, 3 tackles, 1 sack.
Now that's the first sack we have seen from any player here today. And now a 3rd and 17 for Miami. Indianapolis. If they can stop them here, Indy will get the football with about 2:10, 2:15 left.
And the Colts have an opportunity to make the play if Jay Fiedler should try to go up the field with the ball.
3 receiver set. Edwards in the backfield. 3rd down back. Fiedler is running it. Jay Fiedler. And he is smacked at the 44-yard line by Larry Triplett. Well short of a first down. Miami will punt it as Fiedler picks up 11 on the scramble.
And you wonder why did the Dolphins run the quarterback draw? They didn't want to have to throw the ball up the field and risk an interception or a turnover here. You have to be able to punt. If you're going to pick up the first down, you want to do it in a conservative way, because 3rd and long, that just spells danger for the offense in terms of a potential turnover.
Solomon, Indianapolis has used its final timeout, so they used all 3 on this drive, but they do have the 2-minute warning remaining, and they will get the football back. Still just a 1-possession game. It will be a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. That
and the Colts are going to have to show some patience as well, but using all their timeouts, now they're sort of restricted in terms of what they can do. They can only throw the ball toward the boundary, hope to get out of bounds to stop the clock, because no more timeouts.
Royals the punt. Walters waiting. Has some room from the 9. Walters right up the middle of the field, and he will take it to the 16. Ed Perry, the snapper, makes the stop on special teams. A 47-yard punt. Now Peyton Manning. First half, a nightmare. 3 interceptions. In the second half, 12 of 20 throwing the football, including a touchdown to Marvin Harrison.
Now, if you're the Colts right now, you come out, you look to spread out this Miami Dolphins defense, try to pop them up the middle with the draw play to Edgerrin James and go with the no huddle. This is what they're very efficient at. Come out with the no huddle after you make the call here, but you have to take some shots also, and I think try to attack Jamar Fletcher, who's already given up a number of plays.
Colts offense, they take over with 2:15 on the clock, trailing 21-13. And a 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Man. Is up top and caught by Wayne. Reggie Wayne. And they're ruling it incomplete. The football popped loose as Rain extended those arms to bring it in, and he just took the helmet off.
He hit the ground hard. That's right. He hit the ground really hard. That's what really lodged the ball loose as he extends for this play. Just an excellent throw by Manning, dropping the ball over the top of the coverage. Look, he pulls it in. Now the hit drives him right into the ground, and that's when the ball came out.
Brock Marion applying the smack on Reggie Wayne right there.
He drives him right into the ground, and he's not able to hold on to the ball, and that's where the ball was jarred loose once he made contact with the ground.
Now they just showed it on the big screen here at the RCA Dome, and these fans disagreeing with the call on the field.
What they have to understand is once you hit the ground, you still have to maintain possession of the ball, maintain control of the ball once you hit the ground. Now he hits the ground, and watch this. Now from there, it's hard to see.
Had it all the way. Replay, and Wayne is seeing stars right now as he heads to the sideline. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 now from the 16. Motion receiver replacing Wayne. Manning, a flip. Edgerrin James has to create after the catch. And that will take them to the 2-minute warning as James picks up a have to get to the 45 for a first down. Have to get to the end zone to have any chance. They're down by 8. On a handoff, James. He's got the first down out across the 45-yard line to the 47.
Now at some point you have to take a shot down the field. Try to get it down the field and really try to make a big play.
We will hit the 1-minute mark of the fourth quarter, and they elect to stay on the ground. James continues to pick up yardage, but the clock continues to roll to the 41-yard line of Miami. 50 seconds left. Indy has no timeouts left. They trail by 8.
And James is moving slow, getting lined up.
Out of the shotgun, Manning throws across the middle and caught by Harrison, but the clock will continue to roll.
And this is just playing right into the hands of the defense. Even the fans are growing restless, say, hey, we have to take a shot and get the ball down the field at this point.
28 seconds left. Near side, caught by Harrison. Troy Walters with that catch, and he is spun down inside the 15.
And that's what the fans were.
Time over the last 9 years, and their defense comes through at the end. Wow. For Solomon Wilcots, our entire